the world blind. Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. 'Cause every
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the premiere episode of Ballin with the Ladies. Obviously, all things WNBA related. That's either be news, power rankings, all that good stuff. Before we get to it, if you guys are new, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That being said, let's get right into it, man. And overall, I like what I've seen so far. Some of these teams, well, you're a fan of some other teams, but that's we have to wait and see at this point in the season. So take it away.
I'm liking what I'm seeing too, bro. From these teams, a lot of good teams out there in the WNBA. A lot of bad teams too. A lot of 0-6 teams, like a couple 0-6 teams, which was like you can't even buy a win, which is ridiculous. But also the Aces gave me heart issues the other day. How the hell do you not blow out this team? You had a 12-point lead that diminished by the second half.
Your guess is as good as mine, man.
I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on? It was like you had like 9 turnovers, and all those turnovers were just them making bad passes where it sails out of bounds half the time.
Yeah, just couldn't buy a bucket to save your lives. But speaking of
dude, that was the problem. They were jacking up fucking threes, right? They were jacking up threes.
It just looked really ugly.
And they were just ugly shots half the time. They were open shots, but the problem was they overshot all the threes. I'm like, why do you keep overshooting for?
But yeah, I mean, speaking of the Aces, though, for a team that you have to give them their due, bring a first professional championship to the city of Las Vegas, because they were close about a few years ago, or about 5 years ago, with the Vegas Golden Knights. Just unfortunately, they fell short. So Aces, I would say they picked up the slack, but they helped picked up with the Vegas Knights. I know it's entirely different sport, but you have to take into consideration of the city of Vegas, who, well, let's be real, it's the gambling city of the world. But the Aces, for those who don't remember, it started out were the San Antonio Stars. So San Antonio had 2 basketball teams. You had the Spurs and the Stars. And, obviously the Stars, their last season came out in 2017 before they relocated to Las Vegas, and got the players that they got. Obviously, taking Kelsey Plum #1 overall, and let's be real, it really worked. It's kind of been working out in a very short time frame, but I've been a fan of them. With Asia Wilson coming in 2018, say with Jackie Young, means I can't really say much. There's no bad thing to say about her. Not to mention the fact that she is 3rd in the league in field goal percentage at 60% even. Because she's right now behind Aaliyah Boston, who is 2nd at 66.7%, and Brittany Griner. We've actually, me and Tyler talked about this one time on stream, where it's like, it feels like Brittany Griner hasn't really left in terms of her production or her talent.
Yeah, she hasn't really left at all, because it was like she was gone for 2 years. She comes back and she's still a 20-point scorer. Half the time, it's like you really haven't left. You really haven't. Hell, if you look at her splits from 2 years ago and compared to now, she's better now than she was 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And going back to the Aces, though, sorry, Key, I really hate to bring this up, even though I do troll Key, and Key knows it too. We have 12 straight victories overall against the Los Angeles Sparks, which still is right now is the current active streak of any team in a series. Obviously, this year we're playing the Sparks 4 times this year, and most likely, if everything goes to plan and sticks the way they're staying, they could probably make it 16 straight, which is crazy to think. To really believe it, because and then again, I do feel Key, she knows where her team lies. I mean, even though I would expect them to be a lot better than what they're sometimes showing. A lot of times in consideration too, you also have the Agumake sisters, who, if one of them is out, sometimes that team doesn't really function. And I know it's crazy to say that two like twin sisters sometimes make the team function. Sometimes it works. That's kind of what the game plan they run over in Los Angeles.
Yeah, sometimes it takes like one star player for a whole team to work out. When that star player doesn't play well, or they retire, or they're out, that team doesn't function. Look at the last game with the Mystics. Elena Deladon did not have a great game at all. What happened? The rest of the team crumbled and they lost. You need your star player to play well and to help carry the load a little bit when the team isn't functioning well. But you got to have a team. That's the problem with a lot of these teams. Like the Mystics, the Seattle Storm, they're not that great.
And speaking of the Storm, I mean, I've actually have not really talked about this, but I've discussed this with a lot of some other people. To be quite honest, I still think they're still feeling the effects of Brianna Stewart leaving, and same with Sue Bird.
Not only did Brianna Stewart leave, you had Sue Bird retire.
Yeah, and that's
and you don't have a star play. You don't have 2 star players now.
You don't really have a complimentary piece to Julia Lloyd, who, when they were still there, she was the third option on that roster in terms of scoring. Now, obviously, and Julia Lloyd, she's really had to come into her own. I mean, right now, she's obviously, the Storm fell short against the Connecticut or the Dallas Wings, one of the two. Like, she's like, that's like our 4th game right now with like 30 plus points she's put up so far this year. That's what, and Julia's the number 1 overall pick too, as well. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure on her, try to, fill in, Sue Bird retiring. And like we said, Brianna Stewart leaving the all season, which that shocked most WNBA fans. It's like, really?
She's gone. Didn't expect, I would expect it like every other WNBA fan, that with Sue Bird leaving, it would be Brianna Stewart's time to front that team. But as soon as Sue Bird left, I think it was like a week or so later, Brianna Stewart leaves. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
Like, literally, you had a team last year who was in the WNBA finals against the Las Vegas Aces, and all of a sudden,
you have Sue Bird leaving in retirement, and then you have Brianna Stewart leave.
And Brianna January also retired as well from
January retired.
So you had 2 retirements and a so you had crucial.
You had 2 of your main stars retired. Then you had your main young star leave.
And honestly, ever since Brianna Stewart left, she's got much better since going to Brooklyn to the with the New York Liberty, and obviously the Liberty. Obviously, today, unfortunately, fell very short to the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky has somehow pulled out a win over the New York Liberty. And it's kind of crazy to say. I mean, yes. I mean, I do think the Liberty is still a super team, but there are times you've seen moments where they just have a hard time gelling, whether it's Courtney Vandersloot, which is another surprising addition coming off that championship Chicago Sky roster, even though surprisingly I thought the Sky was going to be a team that's going to take a step backwards this year, but now they're for the Chicago Sky. Where are you at? They're 4-3 at the time we were streaming. So
yeah, they're starting to get it together. They're really starting to get it together. But here's the thing: it does seem like that. with the Liberty. It's like certain games are dominating, certain games are not, and they have a hard time gelling. The last game before this game that had just ended a few hours ago, right? They barely won a game. They had won the last game 77-76.
Yeah, their games have been very close as of recent.
That's shocking to me. You would think that they'd be dominant like the Aces are. Dominating through the first 5. Actually, the Aces only dominated 4 games. The last game they didn't really dominate. But this Liberty team hasn't been that dominant. They don't look as good as that like they are on paper.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Even though Brianna Stewart is performing as advertised.
And same with Courtney Vandersloot. You just got Sabrina Ionescu, who is a very nice 3-point shooter. With Han Shu, a 6'11" center, even though she is the tallest woman in the league, which is kind of crazy at 23 years old. But that's another scary person that you don't want to run into. And she's also good from behind the arc as well. You got peace.
But the problem is their defense. They're giving up so many points, and they're just barely scraping by in these games.
I mean, they won by 6 over the New York Liberty. And Kalia Copper, well, let's be real. Kalia Copper still comes as advertised. Obviously for a team that won a championship with Candace Parker. There's really some nice complementary pieces, which you will want in a championship contending team. And yeah, losing Candace Parker in the offseason to us and to go to Las Vegas. We lost Courtney Vandersloot. But there's also been talks that when Candace Parker left, I think it was time for Kalia Copper to, could have been this. And obviously not the same situation, but what could Brianna Stewart front a team, be that number 1 option, and we have seen that with the Chicago Sky. They're, I won't say exceeding expectations, but they're impressing me. Even though their games,
I would honestly say that they are exceeding expectations.
Because for me, like,
no one in who watches this game, except for maybe Chicago Sky fans, because they're loyal and they want to see their team win, which I can respect that. No one else has really said that this team was going to be 4-3 through what
right now 7 games for the Sky.
Games? 7 games, they're 4-3. No one expected it.
It's neither did I. I mean, if you had asked me, right now,
I wasn't really expecting 0-7 bad.
Well, not unless we'll get to one team actually finally snapped their losing streak finally, and that's the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx finally pick up a regular season win, their first win of the season, and now they're 1-6, which is 11.
Yeah, I saw that score. I was just sitting there like, holy shit, they won.
And that's the thing too with some of these WNBA teams. You get good talent on paper, but a lot of times we've seen look at the Mercury when BG was
the Mercury barely made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, they limped into the playoffs.
They limped in,
and unfortunately, and that also stands to the fact, Brittany Griner, say what you want about her, but she on the floor makes a bit of is an impact maker for the Phoenix Mercury. And it's the same thing.
She's a superstar. She was their superstar.
And it's kind of
when you have a team without a superstar like that, you're not going to be that great.
And
to break it to you, that's how basketball works.
Mm-hmm. And look,
and the Phoenix and the Mercury just didn't have that. They didn't have their star because their star was going through that legal issue that Russia is keeping her and all this other shitstorm that she was going through.
Yeah.
At the same time, they were going through a shitstorm on the court.
And think about it too. And, even looking at the playoffs too. Yeah, it was just ugly in terms of the execution. Unfortunately, had Shea Petty
blown out left and right. I think they got swept.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did get swept. And unfortunately, and during that time, we also had Shea Petty who had suffered a torn Achilles, which, that's a hard thing to really
and that reiterates what I just said too. Not only was Brittany Griner going through that shitstorm in Russia, the team was going through a shitstorm on the court.
It's like, yeah, I mean, look, Tarasi's not getting any younger, but even though she is right now the top leading scorer in the WNBA, which is crazy to believe that she's almost at 10,000 points, career points, which is,
And I have to respect the hell out of her for last year. She was trying her damnedest last year to carry this damn team.
and it's
Trying her
just,
damnedest.
oh, absolutely.
And it just wasn't enough.
I mean, like I said, and like we said, she can do so much. It's if your complementary role players can't get the job done, let's just say that's pretty much a recipe for disaster or a recipe for failure. And you've seen, and if you looked at the time for the Aces before they won the championship last year, they're not the great in terms of the roster construction, and it had to take a little bit different of a coaching change. And a roster shakeup, basically. Obviously, one of that in particular, get rid of the goddamn headache that is Liz Cambage, because holy crap, she was a complete fucking headache. And now I can see why the Sparks fans had to deal with that shit from her. Regardless, I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to say if it's the coaching that might not be exactly. I mean, with Minnesota, like I would have seen this team at least 3-3 if you're going to go for the first through 6 games, at least be a 500 team on paper early. Because, like I said,
yeah, on paper I had them 500, but 4-3 through 7, didn't expect that.
The only team that still hasn't picked up a win, that's the Seattle Storm, and that's going back to what our point. They're still feeling the after effects.
You're feeling the after effects. You lost Breanna Stewart. You lost Sue Bird. And you lost your other star. You're losing stars left and right last off season.
Absolutely, and
you don't have anybody. All you have is what, role players on this team?
Yeah, Jewel Lloyd and a bunch of role players. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah, a bunch of role players. That's all you have. So I expected this. I expected them to not be able to win games. And I expected them to not be that great. I expected it.
Yeah, which is sad to say for a team that was phenomenally talented last year.
And that was what was shocking from last year, because last year you had all these stars. You had Breanna Stewart, you had Sue Bird. You had so many stars.
And just couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get it done. And then what really shocked me was Breanna Stewart deciding to up and leave and go to New York.
And originally when I saw,
I was like I said, let me reiterate this. I was expecting her to be that new Sue Bird. Pass the torch to Breanna Stewart. You're the star now.
Like, yeah, and
no, she left. I'm like, what?
Because for me, the one thing is I don't think it's the money issue. I think it's the fact that, look, she's still young, though. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like, how much more do you want to be part of a losing team? That is the Seattle Storm. Like, besides her and Jewel Lloyd, who else do you have outside of those two? Like I said.
Well, you have Jewel Lloyd, and then you have a bunch of role players, like you said.
And if you think of this, too, another reason why the Storm fell in the playoffs last year, Breanna Stewart tried to carry the team on her damn back. Like, you've seen games where she will drop in 40, 50 points, and yet the Storm still find a way to lose games. For me, I think it might just be on the coaching, or what the scheme is going on.
I feel like now that you really said it, it shouldn't have been that shocking that she left, because I think Breanna Stewart saw the writing on the wall there. Look, I'm not going to win here. I'm not going to win games here. I see I see how ridiculously stacked the Liberty are. Let me go there.
Well, and that's the thing too. And I think that was last year of her contract. She just decided to let that expire, and then left in the off season. So, and obviously, and look, I don't think the Liberty were a bad team last year. It's just like
the Liberty actually were a really good team last year.
And I just think need that star, and they
got their star in Breanna Stewart, man.
technically, if you consider Courtney Vandersloot, she's always also crucial as well. And that's going to be another very nice.
She's that second star. She's that second star they needed was Vandersloot. They got Brianna
Very,
Stewart and they got Vandersloot.
and Scott, and look, I mean, I've watched her son, Courtney Vandersloot, and let's be real. Look, she may not be the flashiest player on paper, but she can get you some buckets.
Yes, Rob. Yes, Rob. She ain't the flashiest paper
player on paper. Shut up. But I will say this too,
paper, bro.
She's got. And this is what
last time I checked, Rob, she was human. She ain't a piece of paper.
Shut up.
I ain't gonna let that.
Yeah, you're gonna let that slide. But going back to Vandersloot, though, what I like about her is not just from a scoring from an aspect, but her court vision and her passing. She can pass better than with the best of them. Despite the New York Liberty, they're still a third best team in the WNBA at 4-2 through 6 games. Yeah. I mean,
I feel like they had that slow start. I feel like they will be higher in the standings. They're not going to be third.
Oh yeah,
conference at all. That's how I feel.
Oh, absolutely, because it's still a 40-game season, so a lot more.
Yeah, we're only what 7 games into the damn season, so I really don't.
For some teams, it's probably 6. Some is 7.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, some have we're 7. Technically 7, but some 6
teams that started later.
We're 6 games into their season, and they're 4-2. I expect them to be a bit better. Right now, they're trying to gel. There's been some iffy moments here and there,
but I mean, they can put up points when
they can put up points.
It's just like you say, defense is a bit of a problem. They
just need to get better defensively, and once they get that,
and that's where I feel like I really hope if I'm the Liberty, try to start Honshu as much as you can. Look, you can get that kind of length at sitting at 6'11", a very good defender. That would be very nice.
You will get that
absolutely.
You will get in. All she's got to do is put her hands up, block that ball, and
trust me too. And that's the thing with Honshu. A lot of people really tend to forget her 3-point game's not that bad. She can eat you alive from the 3-point at 6. I was like, good.
Leave her open, bucket city, dude.
That's pretty much what the Liberty's all about.
Like I said, buckets, man. They're all buckets.
But I think, like I said, I'm not really going to harp on that a little bit for the Liberty. I do think they're good. I do think
they'll figure it out. They'll figure it.
It's not. It's not. I'm not really going to hit the panic button on them. But if it's
I don't even think there's even a need to even hit the panic button. They're 4-2. They're still a good team.
Oh yeah, but like I said,
you can't really hit the panic button.
I would say, the best case scenario is to see what these teams look like through 20 games. Like, give me halfway to the season, because I think it'd be a better sample size of where these teams are standing, whether it's or they be in the title contention, making the playoffs, still on the fringe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, give me 20 games. They got 40 some games this year.
40 games this year. Last year was 36.
Yeah, they got 40 games this year. So 20, that's halfway through the season. After 20 games, you can see, okay, where do they lie? But for me, give me at least maybe 30 games.
Yeah.
Get right to the thick of things. 10 games left in the season. Get me right to the thick of things.
But if say the New York Liberty can't get it, like you said, can't get to the thick of things, would you consider hitting the panic button? Because that's the one thing especially, I think the Liberty, besides the Aces, are my top 2 title contenders.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what I see too. I see the Aces and the Liberty.
And then maybe the dark horse, I would say it's a title contender, the Washington Mystics. I think they're going to be that team you do not want to sleep on because,
if you get Della Dawn on her A game,
that's
watch the fuck out.
I'm sorry. You're going to have a hard time, locking her down defensively because, she's, like I said, she's a very good scorer, good defender. Like, she's got the tools of what you want, not just in the star player, but what you want to build a team around, all the facets, offense, defense, all that stuff. But I think another one that I think has really stepped up her game a little bit, and that's Candace Parker. Candace Parker, it's crazy. Even though she's 37, she still looks phenomenal at 37 in her 15th season.
She's 37, but she plays like she's 27.
Like she still plays like in her prime. And
like, I don't even know if she even has an end to her prime. I really don't. She should be at the end of her prime. She should be on the decline. She's not.
No, she really isn't. And the fact that she's adding more milestones for WNBA history is impressive, to say the least. Now, yes, I know she's been on a bit of a lighter workload than anybody else, but I will have no issues with that. Especially the Ace is still a very, very young team.
Yeah, they're a very young team. The only
and that's the thing too. I think a lot of
the only older vet they have is Candace.
Yeah,
that's the only older vet they got. The rest of them are young as hell.
I mean, and plus you got a really nice bench. I mean, as of right now, the Aces are playing right now against the Indiana Fever, who is another team.
Oh, that's on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But,
let me turn that shit on, too, in the background. Holy shit, I forgot they were on today, like, right now. I didn't know they had an afternoon game.
Yeah, it's been nothing but a back and forth between them and the Fever. I don't know why it's called the Pacers, but...
It's another heart attack game, isn't it?
It's only a 3-point deficit.
Son of a bitch.
But it's been very physical. I will say that.
All right, good. But back to what we were saying.
But yeah, I mean, Parker, yeah, I mean, she's not. I mean, look, she can still get you buckets.
Son of a bitch. I don't even have the CBS Sports Network.
I say get the app.
I got the app, but it's not even letting me watch it.
Like the actual CBS Sports
CBS Sports app?
Yeah.
Do you got the sign in for that shit?
Yeah, I got my Xfinity, but I'll give it to you. But
yeah,
I think overall,
I don't have the CBS Sports thing because Sling doesn't carry CBS Sports.
But I think overall, though, and like I go back to what I said earlier, yeah, Parker, yeah, she's not as. I wouldn't say she's not as spry as she used to be. She still can get you what you need out of an old vet. That's what the kind of
wait. I got freaking Paramount. I don't know if Paramount even has it on here.
But yeah, that's my thing too. Like ever since this, like when we saw the news that Candace Parker was coming to Las Vegas, like what? I was just like, I mean, granted, yeah, I mean, you won a championship with the Sky a couple years ago, and you also won your first championship with the LA Sparks. That was years ago.
Fucking soccer. That's all I see on here is freaking soccer, dude. On Paramount. Are you freaking kidding me?
But besides that, I'm really intrigued to see. Yeah, I mean, I know it's. I don't know exactly how long her contract is, but which is what was also funny is the fact that. Oh,
sorry, I was having. My volume was like way up.
What's going on, Rafi?
Bro, they don't even have CBS Sports Network on here. Are you freaking kidding me? I guess I will have to freaking get the information from you.
Yeah. But, outside of wow. But overall, though, I really I'm intrigued to see how much longer can she go. Because right now, this is her 15th season in the league. And it's, obviously that's not concerning, but, how much more does she have left in the tank is the question I'm going to be posing. Because, I mean, look, for a team is.
I ain't going to fucking watch the game. Fuck it.
But overall, like I said, Candace Parker, I was taken by surprise, like, really? Las Vegas? Like, I didn't say, not in a bad way, but it's like, it was a head scratcher. I was like, oh, okay. I
think she saw the writing on the wall with Chicago. I think
Chicago. I think Chicago. Obviously, I almost see the Chicago's in a full blown rebuild. It's more like a retooling era, like it's retooling process for the Chicago Sky because like I said, I don't think. I mean, look, Clea Copper, like I said, she can do it all, and especially with the pieces around her. And you seem, at
You know what I
times,
think it was? It's not that she saw the writing on the wall with Chicago. It was one of those if you can't beat them, join them type of thing.
yeah, because I mean,
we beat Chicago in the championship.
actually, that's Connecticut because Chicago.
Oh wait,
Well,
I thought we beat Chicago.
Chicago, they choked in the first round of the playoffs.
No, wait. I'm talking about a few years ago.
Oh, what? That's no, that was
They
no,
faced us. They faced us.
no. We faced Connecticut in 5 games, or we beat them in 5 games.
Oh wait, that's right. Why did they say that they were in the championship against us on the app?
I guess he didn't update it, but yeah, I mean, because Chicago, they did take on Connecticut in the Eastern Conference. Unfortunately, well, let's be real. Could obviously the Sun, right? Obviously, posed a bit of a problem to the Chicago Sky and beats them in Game 5, which, wow, and looking back at it, I've seen that really led to a lot of sour taste and a lot of most of the Sky's fan base mouths.
Yeah, I remember it was 1 year that they couldn't beat them and beat the Aces in the playoffs, and now it's like, okay, I can't beat this team. This Chicago team isn't going anywhere. Let me join the team that I couldn't beat.
Absolutely.
And
And
that's what happened. That is what happened. She joined the team that she couldn't beat, and now they're 5-0. Chicago's sitting at 4-3.
either way, it still didn't really hurt the Sky. But I think over time, though, I think also Candace Parker realized this is going to be Kalia's Copper's team if she decides to leave at the same time, because her contract's already at that time was already expiring.
Yeah.
Already expired, shall I say? Because she was kind of passing the torch to Clea Copper, who, during that championship run that they had was a number 2. But Clea Copper has shown that she could be a number 1 on a very good team that could use a player like
she
her.
could be number 1, but the thing is, she needs that team around her to actually put it together.
But I mean, if you looked at the games that the Skies played, I mean, they have people that you may not expect to actually help this team win games. I mean, you got Mabry, who's been a phenomenal number 2, or number 3, depending on who you're asking.
Yeah, I feel like Mayberry is a really, really solid number 2 as well. Watching one of those games, I think it was like the first game that I've seen her play. She was really solid. Really solid.
Oh, absolutely.
Play.
But I think overall, yeah, it's just crazy to see, the Sky. Like I said, like we're saying, they're not like a full blown rebuild, but I would say more.
They're in that retool.
Yeah, this is like a retool. I think, I think they have done let's be real, an impressive job. I think they're still going to be a team that, you may not want to sleep on. And that's the one.
Sure. You don't want to sleep on this team. If they get it together, I feel like they'll be a solid team. I feel
think that's
like
just most part of a good majority of the Eastern Conference, anyways. Washington. Well, that's trust me, I will admit I made a big mistake.
The East this year is crazy freaking deep.
It is. This is the second straight year that actually the Eastern Conference has some really good teams, not just from the Washington Mystics, not from just the New York Liberty, the Connecticut Sun, but they got teams that are. You can make your argument that could be not just playoff contenders, but title contenders. Besides the Aces of the Western Conference, you know what? Another team I could throw out there as a dark horse: the Dallas Wings. I think the Dallas Wings is another dark horse for me that can win can win it all.
So you got five. You got five good teams in that East.
And yeah, it's crazy enough to where seeing this really and let's be real, the Wings were not great, but they were not terrible last year. It just like they just couldn't put it together. And I think they were like, I mean, they still finished above 500, but just were early first round exits in the playoffs last
Yeah,
year.
they were just that team that was just all right half the time.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, and the fact that it did come to, and obviously they didn't in fact fire their previous head coach and got a new one. And well, I mean, look, like I said, it's early, but we've seen some stuff really pan out from, you know, Erika Ogugawale. Oh, jeez, I apologize for butchering that because these, name searches, and let's be real, I had and, I will admit that I had a trouble pronouncing Ogumake, so I had to listen to the broadcast. Regardless,
Yeah, that's why we don't even cover hockey.
yeah,
because we don't know how to pronounce the names. That's the
I
problem.
mean, even though with the Wings losing, they only lost by 6. You see some of their losses, or sometimes, there are times they can blow out teams, and their losses sometimes are and I mean very close, depending on who you're asking. I don't think, and, my boy Dante knows more of the Wings about than anybody. Likes what he sees. I mean, look, Maddie Seagrass, let's be real. Gotta love her from the Nova product, because let's be real, to find the women actually are finally goddamn better than the freaking men's. Sheesh, but that's besides the point. I mean, you just got
Maddie Zegras, when she got picked up, I thought that was a really, really good pickup for them in that draft. I really like what she,
and the
what
fact
she
that it
brought
was
to
the first
table.
lady
She was a first round pick. She was a first pick, I think.
She was, and
she was
funny
literally
enough,
the first pick.
I actually I actually predicted her going to Washington.
I didn't. I don't think she would go to Washington, because they don't hold that first pick, because they were a good team last year. They were not. I would have not seen them, go to that first pick. No, there was no way that the Mystics were getting the first pick.
I mean, no, wait, yeah, the Mystics had a first round pick this year.
They had a first round pick, but they didn't have the first pick.
Actually, the first overall pick was Aaliyah Boston, which was kind of given.
That was Aaliyah Boston. Who was the second pick?
Second pick. Actually, let me bring.
I forgot half of that fucking draft, bro.
Yeah, because we go from the draft to training camp to the regular season. Oh no, a very short time frame,
right.
Which is and credit to Key, and she notices that's the big argument that's needs to change. They have the draft a little bit earlier. Then
but yeah, wasn't she picked second in the draft?
Let me.
So it was Leah Boston. I think right after was Maddie.
Maddie actually went third overall to the Dallas Wings.
Oh, she went third.
Fourth was the Washington Mystics.
She was a top. Honestly, I honestly probably would have thought she would have went to the Mystics too, because she had best
and Elena Deladon. Oh god damn!
Hold on. Let me finish. At best, she is a top 5 pick.
No, for sure. I mean,
sure, she ain't dropping out of the top 5. There was no way she was dropping out of that top 5.
That's just. So overall, so you had Aaliyah Boston. Diamond Miller actually went to the Minnesota Lynx. Then Maddie Seagrass, Stephanie Soares from Iowa State at 4. Dallas Wings back again on the clock with Lou Lopez Seneschal, which that's going to be another player I'm going to be interested in watching for the Dallas Wings. Haley Jones, well, let's be real. She hasn't really shown me to be in the top. Why she was not
actually. Here's the thing: she's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's like
I will say that she is decent. I feel like there is some room to grow because she is a rookie. But she isn't outright terrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she's not terrible, but she's not what if I would expect it from a 6 overall pick. That's I'm not really. But yeah, like you said, I mean, there's gonna be growing pains with some rookies, sure. Yeah, like you're not a Boston who can get you a double on a fucking win, which, well, let's be real, Boston's known to do that, and also holds a school record with 80 plus doubles in her 4 years at South Carolina. That's
But that's the thing. That's at South Carolina.
Diamond Miller. I mean, shout out Coach Ed.
You don't know how these players are gonna fare when they get to league anyway.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's a different trend. It's gonna be. Sometimes
Because college ball in any sport compared to pro ball in any sport, that's different.
it's
Completely
different.
fucking different.
And it's at times you get the very few crop of players, especially in the WNBA, have an easier path to transition, or sometimes you'll see growing pains. And I mean, look, in terms of, like, say, the spark, look at Zia Cook. There's some growing pains there, but they got a potential star in the making, and that in Zia Cook. Let's be real. If you have not watched Zia Cook, no pun intended, Cook in the women's NCAA tournament, she is pretty much a walking bucket when everything goes right. But I think overall, like I said, there's some teams I want to see much better from, like in terms of, like, Minnesota, Seattle, for crying out loud. At least try to do something, because Jewel Lloyd needs help.
Dude,
I'm not going to hold.
honestly, she can only do so much herself.
Yeah, it's
And the fact that you didn't retool the roster enough to where she has other pieces, she has actual help on the court. That's an issue.
it is an issue.
And that was all, and it shows the roster makeup too. You were only relying on a big three to get you a championship.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
that's not good. That's not good. You've got to have an entire team. You have to have a complete team to win a championship, not just three players. You're not gonna win with just Jewel, Sue Bird, and Brianna Stewart. I'm sorry, only three players. You're not gonna win.
And you see, and you look at that playoff series between them and the Aces in the semifinals. Yeah, it's been mostly one sided.
You're not gonna win with just three players. You're
the
not
only
gonna do
person that actually showed up in the playoffs, if you have to make the argument for, or that's in terms of the scoreboard or the scoring, that's Brianna Stewart.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's just Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart in that semifinal round last year was just trying her damnedest to carry this team.
Yeah, and it's
I think that was the year Sue Bird got hurt last year.
I think so, but I'm not
in the
entirely
playoffs.
too
I think she got hurt in the playoffs last year, if I remember correctly. And then you had and also Jewel. She wasn't really doing much.
Yeah,
it was just Brianna Stewart that was doing anything, and plus the role players, they weren't doing much because, again, that front office there in Seattle were just relying on three players.
But
what was around those three players? A bunch of nobodies.
And once I could bring up in terms of the roster, because look at the roster. Besides, you have Kayla Charles. I don't really know much to know about her. Ivana Jokic, obviously, a couple of rookies with DFM. I'm not going to pronounce her name. Don't even bother. Aurelia Garantes, solid player. I'll give her that. She's solid, but once she starts kind of getting more comfortable, and I watched a little bit of last year as well. Yes, there were some growing pains with her, but once she gets going, she could be also a walking bucket. Could be another number 2 option. Jordan Horston, not too shabby of a player. Obviously rookie out of Tennessee. She's another good player. I mean, like I said, you got Jewel Lloyd. This is her 9th year in the league, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's been Ezzy McBager. That's not really. I mean, she's not bad. She can also score. Can gets you some buckets. Kia Nurse, talented, but for some reason cannot stay on the court. Jade Milburn, don't know much about Bowder, Sam Whitcomb, Yvonne Turner, Mercedes Russell. That's pretty much what your roster consists of in terms of the Seattle Storm. It's oh boy, that's it's gonna be a rough, obviously a rough season, I would say, for the Seattle Storm, because I just don't know, like, looking at that, like, how can you win with this? Now, I'll say you can win a few games here and there, sure, but if you're going to ask me to say, oh, this is going to be a double digit, I mean, at best, if you look at this roster, if I wanted to be completely honest, I say give it at least 5-6 games at least. Ugh. Maybe even 10 if you're lucky.
I don't see them winning more than 5. I'm sorry. That team's atrocious.
it's sad for someone as talented as Julia Lloyd, her 9th year in the league, but still can't get no goddamn help. But we have seen. Well, I'm not going to make that. And she's a talented player. I mean, she can give you 30 plus a night, which Julia's capable of doing. And it's like you said, Tyler. It's just like what do we do? Like, what's the direction? I don't think they don't know what the direction they're going in.
Not only do you need just 3 players, you need role players. You need a bench. They don't have a bench. They don't have role players. They don't have anything.
And plus, too, and like I said, another thing too that, well, so if you're part of a championship contending team, yeah, I mean, look at this past season. Yeah, sure, we lost 2 good key pieces. Teresa Plaisance was a really nice number 6 woman off the bench, and Dearica Hand before all that. Well, let's be real, that entire bullshit went down. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, with the
the whole thing where she was accusing the coach for bullying, and then
and making comments on her pregnancy, which
they suspended Becky Hammond for
2 games. And to be quite honest, it's like, and I don't get me wrong, I love Dearica Hamby, but that's a load of bullshit.
I'm sorry, but it is because she was tough on you. That's bullying.
And you're here these other players, not really seeing or not. Well, let's be not believing it. Ever since
every single player backed Becky Hammond. Every player.
And the fact that it's just I didn't know what to think of it, because I was just scratching my head at that. It's like, look, I get it. I get it that you're mad that you got traded, which, I mean, to be quite honest, it's what it is. It's time to move on. And then again, we've seen Dearica Hand. Well, I'm not going to hold it.
Don't be blaming the coach that you got traded. Blame the front office. Don't blame the goddamn coach. Accusing the coach of goddamn bullying.
Look, and we're not just, look, we're just saying this as fans, because like I said, I don't know Becky Hammond personally, because let's be real, she has done wonders for this franchise.
She's also done wonders for the goddamn Spurs.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're being one of the great assistants from one of the greatest head coaches of all time, and you cannot convince me otherwise. No. And it's kind of funny how it comes full circle. Having Candace Parker as a player and having Hammond as a coach. For those who don't remember, both Parker and Candace and Becky Hammond used to play against each other during their playing day, or during Becky's playing days. That's like, just seeing the picture of this, like how it comes full circle throughout their careers. It's like, damn, that is crazy. That is just crazy to see, of how in this, people, and I also think too, what I like about this Ace team, they actually need some veteran leadership too. Like, yeah, I mean, again, they're still young, they won a championship, but I think having someone that's a veteran leadership like Candace Parker, sometimes I think it can help some of these other young women to grow, especially these rookies who, like I said, with Candace Parker, she's been around the block for the last 15 years. It's crazy beyond belief. Still,
it is crazy. I'm thinking, wait, she's played since we were kids.
Pretty much. She was originally a spark.
Yep.
But moving forward, like I said, I know this is still kind of too early to tell, but I want to do a little bit something interesting. I want to try to go with our early MVP predictions. Like, who are you going to be earning consideration for the MVP? Obviously, let's get the obvious ones out of the way. That's Asia Wilson.
Yeah.
Give me Elena Deladon. She doesn't get talked about enough.
Give me Brianna Stewart.
Stewie,
she's in there.
Even though I think she was a runner-up last year.
She was a runner-up. I think if she were to win, I wouldn't be mad.
No, but there's give me Erika Okawale from the Dallas Wings. She does not get talked about. She
doesn't get talked about enough.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, she's pretty much leading in scoring. Like, how can you tell me that's not MVP type material?
Oh, that's for sure.
Or and another one, Sabatu Sabali from the Dallas Wings too. She doesn't get talked about enough as well. You know,
Yeah,
she's
she's in there too. She's in there too.
in the last few games she's put up. She was like putting up like 25 and like,
yeah, she was putting up elite numbers.
Yeah, it's like the fact that you got two deadly scorers on that Dallas Wings team when Maddie Seacrest breaks out. Oh, good God, that is scary.
Oh dear God,
that is
oh
scary.
dear God, that's gonna be deadly. Oh my
I'm
God,
sorry, but I
if
think
Maddie
Dallas
Seacrest
has.
freaking wakes up and she starts scoring, oh boy,
Because to be quite honest,
boy.
I think the Dallas Wings, I think they really did really well, not just in the draft, but yes, the coach didn't really do much to get over the hump, but I still think they have at least where the talent is there. Even looked at last year, yeah, they got enough talent, but how much more can that give you? In my honest opinion.
Guys? What's good? What's good?
What's good, man?
Y'all?
What's good, Jerry?
Um,
I think. Oh, well, yeah, Tar. I mean, kind of give your thoughts on, especially the way the Dallas Wings have been so far earlier this year. Like I said, with Arika Ukuwale, Maddie. I mean, look, yes, I know Maddie Seacrest is got a little bit slow out of the gate. I will.
I feel like she's gonna pick it up. I feel like she's gonna pick it up. All I've got to say is this is a team that's gonna be on the rise soon. They're gonna be on the rise soon.
Honestly,
it's going to take a little bit of time, obviously, for Maddie Seacrest to get
really
it going a little bit better. She's not bad, but she's a bigger scorer. She's capable to score a lot more, to get to the bucket a lot more than what she's been doing the last handful of games.
Absolutely, and just take into consideration, yeah, I mean, she's also trying to find her footing, especially transition from the college level to the pro level, where the competition is a little bit.
And for a lot of these players in any sport, like I said, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for a lot of these players to transition from college ball to pro ball, because pro ball is a little bit slower than college ball. College ball, it's a little bit fast paced.
Yeah.
There's a lot of and plus in the WNBA, from what I've seen from the eye test, they go a lot. They go a lot with like strength. How are you to get to the bucket? How are you to get to the rim? And how good are you at bodying up other women on that court?
Absolutely.
If you can body up a person like Candace Parker, if you can body up somebody like Elena Deladon, you can body up a lot of these elite defenders, then you're great. You're great.
Looking at the roster in terms of for the Dallas Wings, you got Kalani Brown, Veronica Burton, Crystal Dangerfield, very nice player in Dangerfield. Diamond DeShields, I thought she was good on this. What's
up, halftime? How you doing, buddy?
What I feel like halftime. Diamond DeShields, I thought she was a very nice player for the Mercury before she got traded to Dallas. Oh, Jasmine Dickey, I don't know much about her. Natasha Howard, let's be honest, just a nice another scorer. Ashley Jones, a 6'1" guard. Remains to be seen of what she can bring. Our choir, 6'6" from Finland. God, Finnish names kill me. So my apologies.
This is why we don't watch hockey.
No, this is a Finnish basketball player, by the way.
Yeah,
standing at 6'6". Don't really know much about her. Lou Lopez Seneschal, I've seen her, what she can do.
She can be a good player in the league,
especially coming from UConn. Well, that she tells you what kind of talent she can really be. Tiara McCallum,
that team always stays winning. The freaking UConn women's basketball team. I don't even know if they even know how to lose.
That is crazy.
That's scary, dude.
I mean, you got Tiara McCowan, a 6'7" center. Right now, in terms of the muscle size, yeah. Oh, actually, Kalani Brown is another one that they have at 6'7", 245. They have two fucking big women in terms of that's the number 5 position.
They're trying to rely on defense, bro.
Yeah, they got a really nice balance going for them. That's like I said, this one team. I think, like I said, this team I could think could be pose a threat to the Aces in the Western Conference. I still wholly truly believe that with the talent that they have, Arika Ogawale, phenomenal scorer. Well, let's be real. The leading scorer Satu Sabali, like I mentioned before, it's another lady that, let's be real, needs to be talked about more in terms of if you want to put her in the MVP conversation. I would do so. And you also got Maddie Segrist as well. And
yeah, once she gets going, I expect this team to win a lot more games. And I expect them to be one of those dominant teams that give the Aces a run for their money.
Yes, especially obviously in a decent Western Conference, because you got total 12 teams, 6 in each conference. You got right now you got 3 good teams. That's Dallas, Las Vegas. Who else is in the Western Conference?
Dallas, Las Vegas. And then you got the Aces.
Phoenix. That's who it is.
And then you got Phoenix, who just got back.
Yeah.
So honestly,
no, is it no?
The West is kind of deep too.
Actually, okay. Hang on. I might think Phoenix. No.
I think they're a good team. They're a good team this year.
Surprisingly, for someone who, not having BG after all this shit that's been going on. Yeah, I mean, now once you got her back, Shea Petty's actually finally healthy. Let's bring coming, knocking on wood. Tearing your Achilles says, we've seen, it's kind of hard thing to come back from.
Look at a lot of these players. You tear your Achilles, their career is finished.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much a career ender, or pretty much more of a season ender, basically.
For me, no, it's more so a career.
Oh yeah,
injury when it comes to basketball, that's a career injury, right there. Tear your Achilles, you're done.
All right, so in terms of the Western Conference, in terms of the teams you got in the Western Conference, you got Vegas, the Sparks, the Dallas Wings, the Phoenix Mercury, the Minnesota Lynx, and the Seattle Storm. So pretty much 4 out of the 6 teams. I can.
4 good teams. Here's the thing: the West is kind of deep. The East is kind of deep. Like what?
I mean, like I said, the Eastern Conference, you have Connecticut, the Liberty, the Chicago Sky, Washington, the Atlanta Dream, who it's less to be desired.
No, Atlanta's not that good.
And you got Indy. Now, Indy, I'm going to give a bit of a pass because they're still kind of finding their footing for a team that, was god awful last year at 5-31. Oh Jesus! I was like,
God, yeah,
they could not win a game to save their damn lives.
Yeah, I feel like they're a 10-win team at the very least this year because now they're starting to kind of put it together. They're more competitive than they were last year.
Oh, they're a scrappy team. I'll give them that.
But I don't think they're going to win. They're like those type of teams where it's like they're okay, but they're not good enough to win games.
They're not there yet. It's just like it's got to take one more push.
Almost there, but they're not there. That's how I feel.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now,
they're almost there, but they're not there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Goddamn, absolutely. I mean, Washington, look, I mean, they still got a really nice roster, but I think overall, like we've seen the times where when this team can get it going, this team can win 20-something odd games. Now, with the 40-game schedule, I can see Washington winning like 25 to almost close to 30 games at the most. They're just too goddamn talented. Because let's be real, like I said, how deep the Eastern Conference is, minus the Indiana Fever.
So you have them going 30-10 this year.
I could say 25-15.
25,
I can see
15.
That.
All right, I got you.
But if they go 30-10, honestly, I respect that.
30-10 wouldn't be a bad record for them because they got a good team. They got a good team over there in Washington.
It's just, I'm not going to say that. Like I said, they're a good team. Sometimes they can be very inconsistent at times, depending on who in some cases that you're watching. Sometimes you have seen times where they look great out of the gate, and when it comes to the second half, they're like slow out of the gate in the second half. We've seen, sometimes usually the opposite, usually slow in the first half, and they come bursting out and catch fire the second half. It's like that's the one thing I would say I will nitpick on with the Mystics. Sometimes they can be inconsistent at times, with their shooting. And let's go back to also and their defense is, I'm gonna say hit and miss, but sometimes their defense, sometimes it isn't just there to really help them out. But I mean, what am I like? How am I to say? Because I haven't really watched much the Mystic, but I've kept track up on them.
Yeah,
But
I've seen maybe like a few Mystic games. I actually called my first Mystic game. I caught them on a good night because they were a really good team. That night they weren't really inconsistent. First half was good, second half was good. They were just like really good that night. They had caught
absolutely.
fire early and often. But I do see it at times where it's like they kind of have a good first half and then they kind of just crumble a bit in the second half, and they just barely escape wins. And then some cases where they're good in that first half, bottom out in the second half, and they lose. I see that sometimes.
And speaking and credit to Mark Schindler, who is a WNBA beat writer. He actually put this out about a couple of days ago about speaking about Setu Sabali, obviously another guard for the Dallas Wings. Pretty much end of the season, forward Sabali expressed the sense of composure and obviously, let's be real, the confidence level is at an all-time high with her. But she did say to herself that the one thing that was kind of in a way holding her back was consistency, which, yeah, that is actually true. I've seen times where she was very inconsistent. No disrespect to her, but that was the one thing that's, it was shown that she really worked on that, averaging 22.3 points per game with 9 rebounds and 3.3 assists per game. She's top 10 in the league in scoring and rebounding, and one of the only three front court players to average more than 3 assists per game. The other 2 players was Alyssa Thomas and Jessica Shepard. Alyssa Thomas, that's another one you do not want to keep out of the MVP conversation for the Connecticut Sun. I do not want to.
You got to put her in there. You got to put her in there.
Oh, definitely. But and I got a few more things. Obviously, going to do a little bit of some power rankings. Obviously, go overview with week 1. Obviously, what an opening weekend for the WNBA, almost drawing 1 million viewers. Which, let's bro, was the last time that happened on opening week, on opening tip off. Not that I can remember.
Years ago, probably, because remember when the WNBA first started, a lot of fans liked it.
Because let's be real,
I don't know what happened over the years, but a lot of fans were put off by it, and they weren't watching games and stuff like that. Now they're getting hot again, where it's like, all right, this is a serious league.
Oh yeah, and not for sure they're making strides in the right direction to finally get the respect that they deserve, and let's be real, they should.
Look at the games we watched; they were basically sold out half the time.
Oh yeah, and I think, remember, Tyler, we've seen this time on social media say, "Oh, they can't draw a crowd." It's like, have you seen what?
Games? Do you watch the games?
As bad as the Seattle Storm is right now, they still sell out the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, for Christ's sakes. Like
I feel like they could be excluded in that example because they don't have an NBA team. The only thing they got is the Seattle Storm.
Yeah, which is crazy beyond belief.
Because remember the Supersonics. The Supersonics went to freaking OK.
So I brought up an article this was talked about from week 1 for the power rankings by Brian Martin, who wrote this. Obviously number 1 was none other than the Las Vegas Aces. Previous ranking was at 1 last week, 3-0 against the Sparks, or win against the Sparks, 94-85. Yeah. This was before they played the Dream, and well, let's be real, that game was ugly to say the least. In my yikes. Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, go watch the stream, because holy crap, Tyler's about to have a goddamn heart attack.
Bro, I was over here almost having a freaking brain aneurysm with this damn game. I'm like, no, because it was like it was a 12-point freaking game, right? I'm thinking, we're coasting, we're doing all right.
And you see, there's
second half rolls around, freaking the Dream all of a sudden are hitting shots. We're missing shots.
Oh,
I'm
no.
Oh no, we're about to lose. Oh no, and then we pulled out of our ass in the fourth quarter. Like, how the fuck?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. But obviously, obviously right now, this, like I said, this article was put out before they played the Dream this past Friday, and right now against the Dream or the Fever right now, which currently the Aces are right now going to be up a 4-point lead with 1.7 to go in the fourth. So make that make that 6-0 for the Las Vegas Aces through 6 games on their schedule. And yep, Aces now are 6-0. Crazy. Damn. But
we
like I
should
said,
be 5-1 the way we played last game. I'll tell you that.
that's what I thought we were going 5-2 at least. But
Bro,
I mean,
no, I'm talking about no. 'Cause the first 4 we were blowing out.
oh
teams.
right. I'm an idiot.
The
I can't
fucking
count.
the fit and no, and then we should be wait, we're 5-0, right? Or 6-0.
6-0 right now.
So we dominated the first 5 games. The 6th game, we
Oh,
barely freaking win after blowing a 12-point lead in the second half.
oh yeah.
And then we should be 5-1. We should not be 6-0 right now.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, I mean, look, the Aces. I mean, it's kind of obvious they're still good. I think they're still going to be number 1 for going after week 2 is all said and done. Number 2 is New York Liberty. I don't mind that. You know, I still think once, like I said, that's going back to what we said earlier. Once they get it together and once the chemistry is there,
yeah,
I think they could push for the number 1 spot on the power rankings. But for right now, I still think they're going to be one of the top 2. We have 2 super teams. That's both the Aces and the Dream, or not the Dream, but the Liberty. But obviously, speaking of this too, Brianna Stewart's actually kind of is second in the league in scoring with 26 points per game. Woohoo! She's pretty much averaging a double so far in her debut with the Liberty. 26 and 10 a game.
That's crazy.
Are you fucking kidding me? And then one game she drops 45 on. I think it was against the Dream.
Her season average is a double right now.
I was like, if you're gonna hate on this lady, I don't know what the hell you've been what you're smoking, because Brianna Stewart.
Every single game that I watched with her, she's passed the fucking eye test with me. Like she can get to the goddamn rim at will.
Yeah,
she can get some rebounds. She can get some assists. She's got it all, bro.
And not to mention, she's 8th in shot block. She's 8th in blocks. That's what
she can play defense too, bro.
If she can average a triple-double by the end of the year, I'm gonna shit. I don't know what to do with myself. That's just unfair.
I feel like she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it, dude.
She's averaging 26, 10, and 1.7 blocks per game.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like she's gonna do it, dude. She's gonna average a triple-double by the end of the damn season.
Or close to it. And that's the case.
Yeah.
Number 3, you got the Connecticut Sun. That's kind of obvious for a team that.
Yeah, that's obvious. They're
was the runner-up.
Yeah, the top 3 teams are obvious.
Number 4, I have no issues whatsoever with this one. The Washington Mystics are number 4.
I don't have that issue. No.
Number 5 is the Chicago Sky. They were previously ranked number 6, but they bumped up a spot. And the Mystics were number 2 during with the week 1 power rankings. Obviously dropped down to 2 spots. Number 6 is the Dallas Wings. They bumped up a spot from 7.
Don't mind that either.
The Los Angeles Sparks, as much as I know they got a bit of a slow start, I think they're going to have a really good team this year. I think they're still going to have a really nice season, but I still think this team can be, I would say 24-16. I can see that Sparks finishing in 40 games. Because if you looked at the roster, it's a whole, minus you still got the Gilmacay sisters, you got the Samuelson sisters, obviously Katie Lou right now out due to her pregnancy, which is phenomenal. So hope everything goes well with her. But they just got a really nice roster, and I think really got a coach that actually is proven. Who actually, by the way, for those who don't know who Kurt Miller is, also coached the Connecticut Sun, who was, like I said, was the runner-up to the Las Vegas Aces, winning the WNBA Finals in 5 games. Number 8, I think this is kind of obvious too. The Phoenix Mercury.
Oh yeah, getting BG back and having that the roster makeup. That's
Yeah.
a good team.
Indiana Fever's at 9, which is interesting because, yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, right now,
I don't know about that, to be honest.
I mean, they won a close game. Their first win came against the Dream, 90-87.
But they're 1-6 and they're at 9 in the power rankings. They're in the top 10 in the power rankings.
This is from week 1. So right now we're in week 2.
They
so
had a terrible week 1. They're 1-6, and they're in the top 10.
At the time they written this, the Fever at the time were 1-2 at the time when this was written.
They're gonna have to fucking they're gonna have to get through that. They're gonna have to update their power rankings because they're
like
1-6. They should not be in the top 10.
Number 10. This is I don't know about this one. The Atlanta Dream. They're at the time this article was written, they were 1-2, so they're in the number 10 spot in terms of the power rankings. Then you have Seattle. At the time we're 0-2. Now they're 0-4. I think that they're going to drop down.
They're going to drop down
at the end of this week. The Minnesota Lynx, despite winning, I would still bump them up 1 spot, even though.
What's the record now?
They're 1-6.
I would not bump them up. I would bump them down. Every 1-6 team, every bad team gets bumped out of the top 10.
And that's crazy because
they all get bumped down. The only teams that should be in the top 10 are the teams that are good.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. But
like they should not be in the top 10.
That being said, the last thing I want to do to wrap up the show, our final segment as our predictions for NFL, the WNBA power rankings for 2023. So obviously I did create my own tier maker for this might change from time to time each and every show. So from week to week. So take that in mind. So obviously we talked about the week 1. If I'm going to have to predict going into week 2, Ace, I'm still going to put the Aces number in the S tier because let's be real, that's the team. They're still the team to beat.
All right. So I'm going to do one this time. We're going to put all the good teams in S tier. Or all the great the Liberty in S tier.
Yeah, so got that.
Dallas in the S tier. The Mystics, I would put them in S tier too. I think. No, I would actually put them in A tier.
Yeah,
A tier.
Bit of a slow start for them.
Yeah. So our top 3 teams are in S tier.
What's better? What up, my boy Earl?
Yeah, what's up, Earl? How you doing?
So now we got the Fever.
Oh, they're in D. Yo, honestly, I would create another. There was
how would you put them in C though? That's the thing.
No, I wouldn't. The Fever are what, 1-6?
Or 1-6.
They're not a good team. They should not even be in D tier. They should be in F. But there's no F, so we have to put them in D tier. They're not even close to a C, Rob.
So the other team we got are the Sparks. Now the Sparks, I think they do play tonight. I gotta check the schedule.
Yeah, I have to check the app, see if they're playing tonight. But I honestly put them probably in B tier.
I can see that because
they're a decent team. They're
an up and down team. So like I said,
but they're decent. I feel like they're D tier.
And yeah, for those who are just coming in, like I said, this is kind of our way of predicting the end of week 2 in terms of. Oh shit! I didn't really see Tyler leave. So, while Tyler comes back, I didn't really see he left.
Bro, I had issues with that. I had issues with the site.
Oh really?
But yeah, I would actually have the Fever in D tier. They should not be.
Okay, so the Sparks they do. So today they did have off. So
all right, so
right now, because the next game they played against the Seattle Storm, which
easy win.
Because like we said, don't really take this as way say, oh, like this like a permanent. It will change from week to week basis. Because like I said, because it's going to be interesting to see where these teams are going into next week or the following week, because it's going to be up and down. So we might change a few things. So like say if the Mystics are going on a streak, we'll probably move down to like a B to a C, or the Sparks go up to like say like a 4-game winning streak or whatever, throughout a couple of weeks. They go probably A to a French S tier. That's the way I look at it. The Minnesota Lynx. Obviously that's
they're in D tier too.
Easy D.
That's an easy D tier
for a team that on paper has a good roster, just needed better execution.
Yeah.
But I think all right.
I'll put him at A tier too. I'll put him at A tier.
Hang on a second, because the way oh my god, fuck off. There we go. So you said you had the Mercury in the A tier?
Yeah, I have them A tier, but they're very, very close to sniffing S tier. Very close.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
A tier.
Atlanta, I'm gonna go with C. I don't think they're like I said, I don't think they're terrible. I think they're just in the middle of the pack. If I have to,
I think they're all right. So I'll put them at C. Yeah, I'll put them at C.
Seattle, I think we could all agree, if they continue to lose games, they're a D tier easy. But overall, we're down to the last final two teams. You have the Connecticut Sun and the Chicago Sky.
I'm putting Connecticut at S tier because they're one of the top teams. Obviously, they're one of the top.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna put the Sky maybe at B tier.
I was about to say A tier as well, because they're a fringe S tier type of team.
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, you're right. They're sniffing S tier too.
And if you're a Mystics, Mercury, or Sky fan, like, we're not disrespecting it. It's just like I want to see more out of the Mystics, and I want to see out of the A tier type of teams.
We want to see more, because right now you just got BG back, Phoenix. Or you just got BG back. And Mystics, Sky, you guys are up and down so far. But you're not a bad team. You're not a bad team.
And for the Mystics, stay healthy. Damn it, that's the biggest nitpick.
Stay healthy and
I mean, you ever talk about the most injury-plagued franchises?
Hold on. But for the love of God, the role players need to help Elena Deladon. They need to help. Even when she has a bad game, help her the fuck out.
And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, and look, like I said, bias aside to the Aces, like if you have like I said, if and at times, which is, I know it's crazy as it sounds, I mean, but in our perspective, if Asia Wilson can't get it going, we have Kelsey. We've seen times Kelsey Plum stepped up, and sure as hell Jackie Young's elevated her goddamn game, which that was the one thing I wanted to see in her.
Happened the game before the game that we had the other night. Candace Parker wasn't having her best night,
but you had ladies like Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum doing their thing.
Up, you had
Jackie Young. I mean, Jackie Young
that night for sure helped out.
And I really hope the Mystics look at that game against the Dream. Say, how much Elena Deladon, I don't think she's really that old. I think
no, she's like maybe like fringe 40, maybe.
Let me take double
close to 40. I don't think she's that old either.
Austin. She is 33.
Oh, she isn't fringe 40. She is young. She's still young. She's 33. So she's in her early 30s. So she's nearly not that old.
Yeah, so you still got a lot more time with her, but it's just you got to give her some help. Or you at least step up when you're really, especially if you want to make the playoffs. That's what you need to do. Yeah, you need to really. I say, well, I mean, technically, they've done a really good job building around her. I mean, they're winning a title out of that too. But it's just, I think over time, it's just like with the different mix and match of the supporting cast, like you got to step up when she really needs it the most, because say, or you say this, and another hypothetical, if BG starts to, let's just hypothetically, if BG goes to which I don't think it will happen, but it may happen. Depends on who you're asking. If she has one of those nights where like she'll give you, well, let's say 10 points, maybe a few rebounds and about a block. And obviously that's not what she can give you, because most times she'll give you like 25, about like 5 rebounds and about a couple blocks, like 2 or 3 blocks. But if she doesn't have a game like that, and you don't have and the supporting cats can't step up, I'm not going to say it's concerning, despite it is early. So we're not going to rehold that against them for most of those teams. But down the road, if you can't really get that going down the road to making the playoffs, that is very concerning. That isn't concerning for a lot of teams. But I think overall, though, I've been impressed with some teams this season, and surprisingly, some, like I said, the Chicago side, the only one team I thought exceeding my expectations of. A team that I thought was going to regress a little bit, losing, Courtney Vandersloot, Candace Parker, part of that championship team, but still got a good head coach, a very good young roster, and the fact that they hung in with the New York Liberty, who many considered to be a super team in the WNBA outside of Las Vegas, and the fact that they beat them really showed that they are a young, scrappy team, are hungry to, in a way, be title contenders again and bring another championship to Chicago. But that being said, overall, I thought week 1 was good for some teams. Others, Seattle, oh boy, you got a lot of explaining to do. Indy,
you got a lot of work to be done here with Seattle for sure. Cool.
Yeah, that's it is sad because I thought on paper, I think Seattle can be a good team on paper. It's just the execution; it's not there, and that's the way I've looked at it. It's just like, I don't know, man. But that being said,
all in all, though, while watching these games, there were some very very entertaining games this week for sure. Very entertaining games. Some games were kind of, over by the third quarter, but some very, very good, entertaining games were played this week too. So I'm very happy for how the week played out.
Well, absolutely. Well, that being said, this is going to conclude to the premiere episode of Ballin' with the Ladies. Like I said, we're going to do this on a week-to-week basis. We'll give our initial thoughts and stuff, and whatever news is coming around the WNBA and stuff like that. With that being said, shout out to everyone that's been in the chat. Though, if you guys new, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you ring that notification bell so you guys will not miss our faces when we go live.
Our beautiful mugshots.
Yeah. That being said, it's the WNBA season is going to get very interesting going down the road. And have a good day. Have a good day, everybody.
Peace.